What if a 10-year-old boy gets bitten by a dog, walks home injured, gets painful shots in both arms and both legs, and then inside court, the dog owner doesn't just deny responsibility. She tells one story, then another. And Judge Judy catches the lie in real time, because this case was not just about a dog bite. It was about a woman who may have known her dog was dangerous, a child who did absolutely nothing wrong, and one sentence that exposed everything. Don't do it. The moment Judge Judy heard those words, she knew something was very wrong. And by the end of this case, the courtroom wasn't asking whether the dog bit the boy. They were asking why the owner tried so hard to explain it away. Before we break down this shocking courtroom moment, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Because if you love Judge Judy-style justice, exposed lies, and courtroom drama, this case is exactly why you're here. This story begins on what should have been a normal afternoon. A 10-year-old boy named Samuel Nunez was walking home from school. No drama, no argument, no confrontation. Just a child walking down the street like he probably had many times before. But then he saw a woman coming toward him. Her name was Lourdes Rodriguez. She was pushing a baby stroller and walking a white, fluffy, medium-sized dog named Nala. At first, nothing seemed too dangerous. But as Samuel got closer, he noticed something that immediately made him uncomfortable. The dog was jumping around, growling, making noises, acting restless. And then Samuel heard the owner say something chilling to the dog. "Don't do it." Now pause right there, because that one sentence tells you almost everything. You don't say "don't do it" to a calm dog. You don't say "don't do it" to a dog that is peacefully walking. You say it when you already sense trouble. You say it when your dog is about to react. And Judge Judy caught that immediately, because this wasn't a random bite from nowhere. According to Samuel, the warning signs were already there. But instead of moving away, instead of crossing the street, instead of protecting the child from the dog, Lourdes stayed there. Samuel walked past, and then it happened. The dog moved around behind the woman, bit Samuel on the leg, just like that. A school walk turned into a painful, terrifying memory. But here's where the story gets even stranger. Samuel didn't yell at the woman. The woman didn't apologize. She didn't stop. She didn't ask if he was okay. There was no panic, no concern, no, "Oh my God, my dog bit you." Nothing. Samuel simply went home. A 10-year-old child bitten by a dog, walking away in silence. And the owner continued on like nothing serious had happened. That alone made Judge Judy suspicious. Because if your dog bites a child, your first instinct should be concern. But according to Samuel, there was none. No responsibility, no urgency, no accountability. And then came the medical consequences. Samuel had to go to the doctor. He had to receive shots. Not one small shot, not something simple. He described getting shots in both arms and both legs. For a child, that is terrifying. A dog bite is already painful enough. But then comes the fear. What if the dog was sick? What if the bite gets infected? What if more treatment is needed? This wasn't just a scratch. This was a serious incident. And still, the defense wanted to act like Samuel somehow caused it. But the case became even more explosive when Samuel's father explained how they found the dog owner. Because remember, Samuel didn't speak to Lourdes after the bite. So how did the family track her down? That's when the second shocking detail came out. The very next day, another person was allegedly bitten by the same dog. One day after Samuel, same dog. Another incident. And suddenly, the entire courtroom energy changed. Because now this wasn't just about one unfortunate accident. Now it looked like a pattern. A dog bites one child. Then another incident happens the next day. And the owner still wants everyone to believe the dog is harmless. That is when Judge Judy started paying very close attention. Police reports were mentioned. Documents were brought forward. Samuel's father explained that authorities connected the dog to both incidents. And while he was explaining, the defense tried to interrupt. They wanted to explain. They wanted to argue. They wanted to control the story before it got worse. But Judge Judy shut it down instantly. Because in her courtroom, emotional interruptions don't replace evidence. And excuses don't erase responsibility. Then, Lourdes Rodriguez finally got her chance to tell her version. And at first, she seemed prepared. Maybe too prepared. She explained that she was walking the dog and pushing the stroller. She saw Samuel coming. She said she was aware that some people are afraid of dogs. So she stopped to the side. She had the dog on one side, stroller on the other. And she claimed she positioned herself so Samuel could pass. But then she said something that made Judge Judy stop her immediately. She said she directed Samuel to go around them. And Judge Judy caught it, because that detail didn't make sense. Why would you direct a child to walk around a dog that is already acting uncomfortable? Why not move the dog away? Why not turn around? Why not cross the street? Judge Judy has owned dogs for decades. She knows dog behavior, and she knew this was not what a responsible dog owner should do. Then Lords tried to soften the statement. She said she didn't verbally direct him, she just stood there. But it was too late. The damage was done, because the more she explained, the more confusing the story became. She claimed Samuel passed. Then they continued walking. Then the dog started barking. Then she turned around. Then she pulled the dog back. Then Samuel just walked away. No reaction, no complaint, no indication that anything happened. And that's when Judge Judy noticed something very strange. The story sounded rehearsed, like Lourdes had practiced it in her mind. But now that she was saying it out loud, didn't sound believable. And Judge Judy said it directly. She told her that sometimes people practice a story in their head. When they finally say it out loud, sounds stupid. That was the moment the courtroom pressure became unbearable, because Judge Judy wasn't just listening anymore. She was testing the story, and Lourdes was failing, but the biggest twist was still coming. Judge Judy pulled out Lourdes' sworn written answer. And that document changed everything, because in court, Lourdes told one version, but in writing, under oath, she had told another. In the written version, Lourdes claimed Samuel came up from behind them and scared the dog. She claimed Nala reacted because she was protecting them. That is a very different story. In one version, Samuel simply passed and walked away. In another version, Samuel came from behind and startled the dog. Those are not small differences. Those are not missing details. Those are two completely different explanations. And Judge Judy knew exactly what that meant. Lourdes wasn't just confused. She was trying to shape the story. And Judge Judy delivered the line that destroyed the defense. If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. That line hit hard, because that is exactly what was happening. The truth doesn't need editing. The truth doesn't need two versions. The truth doesn't change depending on who is listening. And once Judge Judy saw the contradiction, Lourdes' credibility collapsed. Then Judge Judy focused on the real issue. She believed Lourdes sensed something was wrong with her dog before the bite. Maybe the dog had shown aggression before. Maybe the dog was jealous because of the new baby. Maybe the dog's personality had changed. But whatever the reason was, Judge Judy believed Lourdes had warning signs. And if you see warning signs, you act. You don't wait for a child to get bitten. You don't gamble. You don't hope nothing happens. You move the dog. You protect the child. You prevent the danger. That was Judge Judy's point. And it was powerful because it was simple. The child had no responsibility to manage the dog. The adult did. The dog owner did. The person holding the leash did. But even after all that, Lourdes and her husband still insisted the dog wasn't dangerous. They tried to say the dog loved the baby. They wanted to show pictures. But Judge Judy was not impressed, because pictures don't prove a dog is safe. A cute photo doesn't erase a bite. A peaceful moment at home doesn't cancel out what happened on the street. And then Judge Judy said it clearly. Your dog bit the child for no reason. Lourdes disagreed. Her husband disagreed. But Judge Judy pointed out the problem. Neither of their stories showed that Samuel did anything wrong. He didn't run at the dog. He didn't hit the dog. He didn't tease the dog. He didn't threaten the baby. He was just walking home from school. And somehow, he ended up injured. That is why Judge Judy refused to let the defense twist the situation. Because this case wasn't about a bad kid. It was about a dog owner who didn't take enough responsibility. Then came the final warning. And this was one of the most dramatic moments of the case. Judge Judy looked at Lourdes and warned her about her own baby. She explained that one day, when that baby starts crawling around, dog may react again. And if that happens, Lourdes won't be able to say nobody warned her. That moment was chilling, because Judge Judy wasn't just giving a verdict. She was giving a warning, a serious one, a warning about denial, a warning about danger, a warning about what happens when people protect excuses instead of protecting children. And then came the judgment. Judge Judy ruled in favor of Samuel and his family $25. Case closed. But the real victory wasn't just the money. The real victory was that the courtroom saw through the excuses. A little boy was bitten. The owner changed her story. And Judge Judy exposed the contradiction piece by piece. Because in her courtroom, you can bring excuses. You can bring emotions. You can even bring cute pictures of your dog. But if your story doesn't match your own sworn statement, Judge Judy is going to find it, and when she does, truth is coming out. So what do you think? Was this just an accident? Or did the owner know her dog was dangerous and try to cover it up? Comment your opinion below. And if you enjoy real courtroom drama, exposed lies, and Judge Judy-style justice, make sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video, because the next case gets even crazier.